are prepared to break the silence. I'll be out in the sunshine, running beside the lions. I've been feeling down, but I've been looking up, afraid to fall. God, I've been so down, can you pick me up? Don't let me fall. Can you show me how to fix this mess? I am down and on my knees, and I may fall as I'm so close to the end.
Welcome back to the Dugout Football channel. It is the end of another fascinating Premier League season. And yeah, we are here to react to my 23-24 Premier League predictions, all the way I made them back in August. Let's see how I've done. Please do remember to hit that like button. Please do remember to hit that subscribe button. And we will begin. Now, obviously, I'm going to go up from 20th to 1st. Obviously, the teams that finished in those positions, and I will have it at the side in brackets which position I did actually have these teams. So let us kick off with 20th place. So who did I say was going to be in the relegation zone? So 20th place, Sheffield United. They ended up in 20th. My prediction was 19th. I'm quite happy with this prediction because at the start of the season, when you lose your best player, you're always expected to struggle. Elman Ndiaye was pivotal to their goals to get them promoted last season. And he decided he wanted to leave. He went to Marseille. And if we're being honest, I don't think he was really replaced, if I'm being honest. I look at that Sheffield United side and, I think there's a few good wee players in there. Obviously, McBurney is McBurney. He scores goals for you. I think Brereton Diaz was a very good player to come in on a loan deal from obviously Villarreal. He scored a fair few goals as well. Gus Hamer, I thought that was a very, very good signing for them. But all in all, really forgettable season. And Paul Heckingbottom, I said at the start of the season, you can go back. I said he'd be one of the first ones to be sacked, and unfortunately, he was. They've now conceded 104 goals, which is a Premier League record in 38 games. The previous record was 100. That was by Swindon. That was in a 42-game season. I think in the 94-95 season. So, yeah, you've got to say, not a great season for Sheffield United. And look, Chris Wilder is there. Will he still be there by the start of the next championship season? Who knows? But Sheffield United, very, very forgetful, very, very poor side. And probably, if we're being honest, one of the worst sides in Premier League history, especially with that goals conceding 104 goals, which is absolutely incredible when you think about it. But yeah, very, very forgettable season. And yeah, Sheffield United relegated as probably most expected. I think many people probably expected them to go down, but they have gone down. So 19th place, it's Burnley. And I will admit, I overestimated Burnley. I did not think that they would have the season that they had. I don't think Vincent Kompany got his ideas right when it came to the Premier League. He had the same ideas from when he had in the Championship. He was to play open, expansive football. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out. They were getting beat left, right, and centre. I think there was like 5-2 to 5-2 to Tottenham. There's been a few 3-0s in there. I think there was a 6-0 to Manchester City as well, I think in the FA Cup. So it's not been a good season. And obviously Vincent Kompany is one of those ones that seems to be getting linked with the Brighton job. We will get on to Brighton very, very shortly. But I look at Burnley and I think they're probably going down with the knowledge that they'll probably be okay next season. They're probably a team too good for the Championship, but not good for the Premier League. I think that's what they're going to have to work out. They're going to have to work out if they can get that style of play and actually work in the Premier League. But yeah, Burnley. I'll be honest. I expected more. I expected more from Burnley. I thought they would at least stay in the league for another season. They haven't. They've gone down. They're 19th. It's been a good season. It has not been a good season for Burnley. But I think they were much better than Sheffield United. Let's just be honest. They were much better than Sheffield United. Let's just say that, including actually a 5-0 victory for Burnley against Sheffield United. I think they won 4-1 as well. So they managed to do the double over Sheffield United, which was very good as well. I think Lyle Foster was a very good signing. I think Xander Berg was a good signing. From obviously Sheffield United as well. James Trafford, not sure that works. I think he might do well in the Championship. Let's be honest. Muric is another one who flattered to deceive as well. So it's disappointing, but Burnley go down, regroup, and I think you'll be fine next season. I don't see you in any sort of relegation trouble next season, but I just think you're going to have that balance of knowing how to play in the Championship and know how to play in the Premier League, and whether or not Vincent Kompany is there is another matter. So 19th Burnley. I bet you I was not the only one who actually overestimated Burnley. I will say that now. I would imagine there'd be a lot of people out there that probably would have predicted Burnley probably sort of where I had them, 14th, 15th, 16th, somewhere along those lines. But yeah, Burnley, they are relegated. So 18th place, it was Luton Town, and I actually had them to finish 20th. So I'll be honest, Luton really impressed me. Now, you might say, right, okay, yeah, they've gone down. They have gone down. But they were very difficult to beat at Kenilworth Road. Rob Edwards had them playing. I think there were a few teams that went away from Kenilworth Road, Liverpool included. They drew 1-1 with Luton at Kenilworth Road. But Arsenal won 4-3. Man City won 2-1. Man United won 2-1 at Kenilworth Road. There were a few teams that went to Kenilworth Road and struggled. It's the safest thing to say. They struggled. And what I will say, I do think that the way that they've been, the way that they played, was very good. So Ross Barkley was a magnificent signing for Rob Edwards' side. He really was, and I think you've got to say as well, Rob Edwards is a very good manager. So I think Luton Town, out of the three teams that are going down, I think they are the more possible to potentially come straight back up because of the infrastructure there. I think Luton Town have been a fantastic addition to the Premier League. I think where they lost it, where they potentially went down, you don't go 3-0 up against Bournemouth. Now I know that obviously that game was obviously rescheduled because of obviously what happened to Tom Lockyer earlier in the season as well. Obviously having a cardiac arrest on the Vitality Court pitch, and obviously that game was obviously going to be replayed at some point. But what you don't do is go 3-0 up and then you go and lose 4-3. I think they were very good on the eye. I think they conceded too many goals, unfortunately. But look, Luton Town, you've had your moment in the Premier League. I'm sure this won't be your only moment. I'm sure you will be back. And keep Rob Edwards, because Rob Edwards, fantastic manager, and what a way to get back as well. Going from obviously Forest Green to Watford, then to Luton, and he gets them up. Didn't quite keep them up, but look, Luton Town, you've been an absolute joy to watch, and yeah, good luck in the Championship. Good luck in the Championship, because I think Rob Edwards will do a very good job for you guys next season. So 17th place, we have Nottingham Forest, and this is one of my first ones I absolutely got spot on. I did predict them to finish 17th. Look, Steve Cooper finally paid the price. I think it was always going to be a case of, if he didn't have a good run, I think he was potentially going to go. Like, Steve Cooper's been a magnificent manager for Nottingham Forest. Let's just say that. I think some of the signings that they made, Callum Hudson-Odoi was very, very good. Obviously, they brought Divock Origi in as well. Morgan Gibbs-White, very, very good, good player as well. So it's really, really annoying when Forest have obviously had, a points deduction as well for obviously PSR issues. I won't get into it. I won't get that because we'll be here all day. We'll be here all day. But what I will say, I do think that Nottingham Forest, I think if we're being honest, weren't really in any sort of relegation trouble. I know they sort of slipped into the relegation zone a couple of times, but I always felt that they had the firepower, and obviously Chris Wood is a matter of that. Um, but I do think that this next season coming up, they're going to have to change their ways. They're going to have to get a goal scorer. I'm not entirely convinced with Matt Turner. I'll be honest. Matt Sells was a good signing. I've got to say to obviously come in and goal there as well. Obviously, they did have Keylor Navas the previous season as well. So Forest will have to change their ways. Will Nuno stay? That's another matter as well. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see with Nottingham Forest. But this was one of the ones I got spot on. So I'm very, very happy with that one. 16th, Brentford. And my actual prediction for them was 13th. So a little bit lower than I would have expected. But then again, look, Brentford lost Ivan Toney until at least January. They brought in Neil Maupay, which worked for a wee bit. But I think their biggest miss this season has been Mbeumo. Mbeumo, Vissa, Toney. That three, as a sort of a three going forward, they were three of the probably the best attacks in the Premier League. They know how to play with each other. And look, Mbeumo been injured a lot this season. It's safe to say he has been injured a lot. I do think though Brentford keeping Thomas Frank, they stuck with him. I think that was the right decision to do. And look, I'm going to say this as well. I think Ivan Toney is going to be a big sort of transfer target this summer. It's whether or not they can keep him. Now, if I'm being honest, I think you cash in on him because I don't think he merited playing for Brentford anymore. And the reason I say that, I think his attitude was all over the place. I think it was, and I think he wants to leave. I think it's the safest thing to say. So if I was Brentford, I would cash in on him now. Get at least 40, 50 million quid. You're not going to get the money that you were wanting previously. I think it was between 60, 70 and 80. You're not going to get that. So I think what you've got to say is that Brentford definitely need to get rid of Ivan Toney. I don't think Mark Flecken was a great signing, even in all honesty. I know he did well at Freiburg, but the Premier League is a different kettle of fish to the Bundesliga. So look, Brentford, I do fear for Brentford next season. I think they could be in a spot of bother next season. But they need a goal scorer. They need a goal scorer. And hopefully, if Mbeumo stays fit, if Vissa stays fit, we'll wait and see. But Brentford surprisingly had a bit of a difficult season, and it was a bit of a difficult season. They finished in 16th. So 15th was the Ev, and the Ev finished 15th. Sorry, and my prediction was actually 16th. So again, not 2 million miles away from an actual prediction here. Everton, I've got to say, I know that they finished 15th, but they were one of the very good teams that kept clean sheets. Bramthwaite, I've got to give a special shout out to him. I think he's been excellent for Everton. I think he has been excellent for Everton this season. And I do think it could be one of those ones that could be targeted this season as well. Jordan Pickford, I think, has had a magnificent season for Everton. I think he does get his critics, but he does keep his fair share of clean sheets. And I think as well, Sean Dyche deserves a lot of credit. Everton have had 2 points deductions. They had a 10-point deduction that was, struck down to 6, and then they had another 2-point deduction as well. And they've still stayed up with 40 points, which is magnificent from Everton. So I think Sean Dyche deserves a lot of credit as well. Beto was an all right signing as well, but yeah, for me, Jared Bamford has been their player of the season as well. And they will enjoy that derby victory against Liverpool as well. Their first derby victory over Liverpool at Goodison Park in 14 years as well. So, Rick, enjoy it. That was a very, very good result for you, Everton. But yeah, another season staying up, and we all know the next season will be the last one at Goodison Park, and then obviously they will be moving on to their new stadium, of course. So yes, Everton 15th. Happy with that. Happy with that prediction. 14th, Wolves. I actually had them to go down. Now, what I will say, Wolves were in absolute turmoil at the start of the season. You remember Lopetegui decided to walk out on Wolves uh, two weeks before the very first game, which was against Manchester United. And I will say this now: Gary O'Neill, fantastic, has done a fantastic job at Wolves. He's managed to keep them up. He's managed to keep them sort of stable as well. And look, that game against Manchester United, everyone expected Manchester United to wipe the floor with Wolves, but shown that day that they can play. They can play. And look, they had a lot of plaudits that day for the way they played. They probably should have beaten Manchester United, if you want to be honest. They should have beaten Manchester United. But look, I think if you look at what Wolves have done this season, it's very, very good. And I think the fans would have took that 14th place at the start of the season, because a lot of people, myself included, obviously had them to go down. So very, very good for Wolves. It's whether or not they can sort of build up on that. Look, Pedro Neto, he's going to be one that's going to be targeted, I think, in the summer. Matis Cunha is still a very, very good player. Hwang Hee-chan as well. He's been very, very good as well. So Wolves, very good finish in the end. Very, very good finish. And yeah, we'll see what happens next season. And Gary O'Neill can only do a lot better with what he's got. And I think Wolves will have a very, very good season. So yeah, 14th Wolves, 13th Fulham, and I predicted them to be 11th. So again, not 2 million miles away with this one. The thing with Fulham is they're a bit like a Jekyll and Hyde. Don't know what you're going to get. Look, I think signings that they made was very, very good. Calvin Bassey's been an excellent signing. I think he's been really, really good for them. Obviously, speak about Pereira again. I think he's had another fabulous season. Burnt Leno in goal as well. Fulham have had a good season. Marco Silva deserves a lot of credit as well. I think Fulham have had a very, very good season. They will look to sort of build on that next season as well. But again, comfortably mid-table. Comfortably mid-table. Fulham would have took that at the start of the season. And yeah, they look like a very, very good unit next season. And the only for Fulham, the only way is up for the Cottagers. So 12th place Bournemouth, and I actually had to predicted them to be 15th, but for a long, long while, Bournemouth didn't actually win a game of football for a long time, and it was only until obviously all the rumours about Andoni Iraola sort of losing his job. But my goodness me, what a turnaround he has had, and some of the signings that they made, absolutely amazing. Justin Kluivert, fantastic signing. I think as well, Solanke deserves his flowers. I think he's had a fantastic season. But Andoni Iraola deserves a lot of credit, because a lot of Bournemouth fans were calling for his head. A lot of Bournemouth fans were actually calling for his head when things weren't going right, when they weren't winning games. I even saw a couple of Bournemouth fans actually say that they wanted Jesse Marsh to replace Andoni Iraola. But look, I think you've got to say to basically go from almost losing his job to potentially being one of the managers of the year, or a nominee for manager of the season, is a fantastic turnaround for Andoni Iraola. So you know what, Bournemouth, this is a team on the way up, and I've got to say, probably one of the most overachievers this season. I would say. I've been very impressed with Bournemouth, and I think the only way is up. But it's whether or not they can keep Solanke, isn't it? It's whether or not they can keep Dominic Solanke. So we'll wait and see with that one. But yeah, I think it's a very good season for Bournemouth. 11th, Brighton, and I had them to finish 9th. So again, not 2 million miles away. But again, I think Brighton's season has been affected by the Europa League. Let me say that now. Roberto De Zerbi is now leaving. I don't blame De Zerbi, if I'm being honest. I think there's been a few rumblings recently. I think in recent press conferences, he hasn't looked happy. He hasn't looked happy at all, if we're being honest. So, but I've got to say, Brighton didn't disgrace themselves in Europe. I thought they were really, really good. I think that if I was a Brighton fan, the one thing I would be very, very worried about is your away form. I think your away form this season, and it's especially after Europe games, you seem to lose a lot of goals. 6-1 against Aston Villa, 4-0 against Luton Town as well. So that wasn't very, very good as well. But look, I think Brighton next season, they don't have European football. I don't worry for Brighton. I don't worry for Brighton, if I'm being honest. I think they'll look to try and sort of get another top half finish. I think this is sort of where Brighton are at the moment. Look, I think to get European football the season previous there was excellent. You know, De Zerbi did a very, very good job. Now, who goes into the Brighton? I mean, I've seen Vincent Company being linked with Brighton. I've seen Kieran McKenna being linked with Brighton, obviously the Ipswich Town manager. Brighton fans, let me know your thoughts in the chat. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Who would you want to replace Roberto De Zerbi? Do you want Graham Potter back? I know I've seen a lot of people say no to Graham Potter, which again doesn't really surprise me. Does not really surprise me in the slightest. So Brian, I think he'll have a better season next season. So now that is the bottom half. We'll go up to the top half, and we have Crystal Palace in 10th, and I had and to be finishing in 12th. Taylor two halves for Palace. First half, struggling along with Roy Hodgson. You've got to say they were struggling along with Roy Hodgson. In comes Oliver Glasner, and my goodness me, he has got them playing probably one of the informed sides to end the season. I've got to say that now. They were magnificent. Elise, I know Elise does have his injury problems. He's had a good end to the season. Eze has been absolutely outstanding. As well, the biggest surprise for me is Jean-Philippe Mateta. What a player he is, by the way. I mean, he obviously scored a hat-trick against Aston Villa on the final day of the season as well. Palace look like a team on the up. And if they can keep the majority of their squad, look, Michael Olise, Eze, their players are going to be really linked in the summer window. They can keep them. I think they'll be good. I think if they keep Mark Guehi, that would be very, very interesting as well. I think the only sort of question mark I think is Odsonne Edouard. I think he probably on the way out as well. But I think you've got to say Crystal Palace had a magnificent season. To get 10th is a credit to themselves. And I think Oliver Glasner, he's already turned down Bayern Munich. He knows what he's doing. He gets a full transfer window. Palace will be up there. Palace will be up there next season. And I think they will have a very, very good season. So well done to Oliver Glasner. Palace, very, very good finish. 10th place. I think, if my memory serves me correctly, that is their highest joint finish, is 10th place, I think. I will need to double check that, but well done to Crystal Palace. 9th place, West Ham, and I had them to finish 10th. So you'll see from most of these, well, maybe not one of them, but you'll see from most of these, I wasn't a million miles away. West Ham, look, I think West Ham have done the right thing in getting rid of David and bye-bye to David Moyes. I think this was the season that he's going to go. Kudus has been a very good signing. Whether or not he stays around is going to be another matter. Alvarez, I think he's been a very good signing. James Ward-Prowse, of course, as well. West Ham going forward, it looks like Lopetegui is going to be taking charge. Is that a good manager? I think it is. It's an okay manager, but I don't think it's going to be one that sort of excites West Ham. But look, did okay in the Europa League as well. They did okay in the Europa League. Obviously, going out to Bayer Leverkusen as well. West Ham will be happy with that. West Ham would have took your hand off for a top half finish, especially finishing 14th last season. They would have took your hand off. So very good season for West Ham. And yeah, see what the future holds. And obviously with Julian Lopetegui, the next man to be manager. So, 8th place, Manchester United, an actual prediction 4th. Yeah, I don't know where I was when I thought they would finish 4th, but at the start of the season, I said they were doing fantastic business. Onana's been good signing. He has. Look, to start, he hasn't had the defence to work with. Look, they've had loads of injuries for their defence as well. But what I will say, this is their lowest Premier League finish ever. Manchester United have conceded 83 goals through all comps this season. This has been nothing short of an embarrassing season if you're a Manchester United fan. I don't see any chance in which Erik ten Hag remains at Manchester United. I just cannot see, especially negative goal difference, lowest Premier League position. Yeah, negative goal difference. That is just terrible, terrible. I think it was -1 they ended up on. That is not great. That is not great at all. I know they've had injuries, but I feel these sets of players are going to just throw another manager under the bus, and it looks like they're going to throw Ten Hag under the bus again. Look, I'll say this now: I'm not impressed with Manchester United. And look, this is going to be very, very interesting summer because I think they need a massive clear out. They need a massive clear out. This is the worst Manchester United side I have seen in Premier League history. Yes, you can take injuries. Their squad is not good enough. Their squad is not good enough. So big, and obviously Ineos have come in as well. That's another matter you've got to say. Ineos have came in. So Manchester United, you've got to improve next season because that was an absolute car crash of a season. And they are in the FA Cup final, but I give them a 2% chance of beating Manchester United, beating Manchester City. I really do. Needs to be better. Manchester United needs to be better. 7th place, Newcastle United. I had them to finish 5th again. This is sort of the reason for Champions League. To finish bottom out of a group of AC Milan, PSG, and Dortmund wouldn't be a disgrace, but they'll feel that they should have probably gone through, maybe into the Europa League, but they finished with no Europe. And look, I think Eddie Howe's done a good job regardless. I think they were very, very low down at one point this season. Anthony Gordon has had a very good season. Isaac has had a very good season. Cher has had a very good season as well. They have lost out, obviously, on Nick Pope. I think he did return for the Brentford game on the final day. So good to see him back. Good to see him back. But yeah, Newcastle, I think, if we're being honest, it'll be interesting to see what the owners are sort of wanting them to finish next season, because I think that their target is definitely going to be sort of top 4, top 5, top 6, definitely. They are in the Conference League, so very, very well done to Newcastle for that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Will they go far in that competition? We'll just need to wait and see. We will just need to wait and see. But look, I think it's going to be very, very interesting, to say the very, very least. And 6th, Chelsea. I actually predicted them to finish 7th. So again, not a million miles away. Not a million miles away. Chelsea ended the season well. Let's just say that. They ended the season well. They didn't start it particularly well. Pochettino, I think he is getting his ideas across now, which is really, really good to see. I do think that it's going to be interesting to see what he does in the transfer window. Um, like Moises Caicedo, Romeo Lavia, some of them players just haven't worked. Moises Caicedo, you could kind of argue that he's kind of moving into his game now. Nicholas Jackson has flattered to deceive at times. Um, Cole Palmer, well, without Cole Palmer, Chelsea would probably be lower. If we're being honest, Cole Palmer's had a magnificent season, coming in, and obviously the young player of the season as well. Very, very good, very, very good. I think Chelsea are the team on the up, and I think the disappointing thing, yes, they did lose to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final, but I think Pochettino, if he gets a full transfer window like he will do this time around, I think Chelsea will be okay. I think Chelsea will be okay, but yeah, sixth place in the end, good enough finish in the Europa League football for Chelsea. Fifth place, Tottenham, and I actually had them finish eighth. Much better season than I predicted for Tottenham. Unfortunately, started really, really well. Started really, really well. You remember when I think they were sort of top at one point going into October, and many people said then it's only a matter of time before Spurs sort of drop off. And look, I think in the end they did kind of drop off away. Disappointed, obviously, on Champions League football, but you know what, James Maddison, I think he's been a good signing. I wouldn't say he's been great. I know he has been injured a wee bit as well. But he's got a second season to go up another gear as well. But Cario, fantastic signing for goalkeeper. I think he's been a really, really good signing for them as well. I think the only way is up for Tottenham as well. But Europa League football, good luck to them. And Ange Postecoglou, good manager. And if he's backed in the right way, Tottenham will do good. Tottenham will do very, very good. So we move into the top four now. And Aston Villa fourth, and I actually had them to finish sixth. So you've got to say, well done to Aston Villa, well done to Unai Emery. I think they'll be disappointed they didn't win the Europa Conference League. I think a lot of people probably expected them to be in the final. Unfortunately, they came up against a good Olympiacos side. I think, you know what, Aston Villa, very, very good. Watkins, Douglas Luiz, John McGinn, Martinez in goal, Carlos, Konza, Cash, they've been very, very good. And it's not bad when they actually lost 5-1 to Newcastle on the first day of the season as well. But Villa Park was a difficult place to go to. I remember that Manchester City lost there, Arsenal lost there, Liverpool drew there as well. So Aston Villa had a really, really good season under Unai Emery. And look, I think Champions League football was none other than they deserved. So very, very well done. Very, very well done to Aston Villa. So third place, I actually had Liverpool, and I did get this one spot on. I did have Liverpool to finish in third place. Jurgen Klopp is gone. Now it is now time for Arne Slot. Look, I will give this man a chance. I'll give anyone who comes into Liverpool a chance. Alexis McAllister has been our signing of the season. I will say that now. Dominic Szoboszlai has been good. Flat to deceive at times, but I think he is sort of learning into a new season as well. Ryan Gravenberch as well. I think he's been very, very good. It's been a good season. It's been a good season. Start of the season, you would have expected us to be sort of going for a top four finish. I think to be challenging for the league, yes, it's disappointing in the way we've kind of, fell away a little bit. But I think you've got to say that a lot of people didn't expect Liverpool to be in a title race. Everyone expected Manchester City and Arsenal to be in a title race. They didn't expect Liverpool to be. So I think it's very, very impressive that we stayed as well as we did. It's that we stayed in there as well as we did. But look, third place, Klopp is gone now. And you know what? The next manager, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But Champions League, we're back in the Champions League. That was the target for the start of the season, was to get in the Champions League. Maybe a League Cup win. We got a League Cup win. Very, very good. And you know what? Europa League win didn't happen in the end, but to be back in the Champions League, you would have took that. You would have took that. Second, Arsenal, and yes, I did predict them to finish second, so got this one spot on again. Arsenal, I think to take it to the final day is a testament to themselves. Like, I think they've done very, very well. Saliba and Gabriel, probably one of the best centre back partnerships of the season, you've got to say. Just wasn't enough in the end. I think they kind of lost that. I think when they lost Aston Villa, I think a lot of people had that sort of sense that it was over then. And look, I think this City side, they don't lose many games. Declan Rice put Arsenal to another level, I've got to say. I think he was a very good signing. Havertz, look, I'll be honest, at the start of the season, wasn't convinced. I think a lot of people have kind of taken a bit of a let's see your hat moment, because I think Havertz has been a very good signing for Arsenal. I think he has. Timber, I think we'll see more of him next season as well. But Trossard's been very, very good as well. Saka had the season as well. They just fell the final hurdle again, and I think next season Arteta is going to be under massive, massive pressure, because that's now 4 years that Arsenal he's now had, and one FA Cup. No, one FA Cup, one Community Shield, I think it is. So this is the time to deliver. This is the time to deliver for Arsenal. And of course, that obviously leaves Manchester City first, and obviously I got this one spot on as well. So yeah, it's got the top three spot on. So I'm very, very happy with that. City, they're just a juggernaut, aren't they? I think Gabardil, very good signing, you've got to say. Nunez as well, very good signing for City. Doku's came in, another very good signing. City are just City. When people say that they were going to sort of lose it when Arsenal were sort of there or thereabouts, it was always going to have that feeling. It was always going to have that feeling that they were going to sort of go away. But the man they need to thank for winning the Premier League, Stefan Ortega. That save against Son at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, that could have gone 1-1, and that could have been a different story. Because who would have known what would happen after that? But Ortega has been a very good number 2 for Manchester City, and it'll be interesting to see if he actually stays on. Whether or not he stays is another matter. But look, Manchester City, yes, we know that they've got their 115 charges. That's going to probably be with them for a little while yet. But again, 4 Premier League titles in a row. It's never been done before. So yeah, heartfelt congratulations to Manchester City. So there we go, guys. There we go. That is another Premier League season done and dusted. It has been a fantastic season yet again to preview and predict, and I really, really enjoyed it. But thank you very much for watching, and please keep an eye out as well. I will have a video for my team of the season as well, so please do keep an eye out for that. And most of the stuff in the summer will be the Euros. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
Give me all you've got if you're prepared to break the silence. I'll be out in the sunshine, running beside the lion.